The silence of your room often betrays the cacophony within your mind, a realization that marks the true beginning of this descent into the unseen. You sit there, perhaps convinced of your own autonomy, yet a single name flickers like a dying candle in the periphery of your consciousness. It is not an invitation you extended, it is an intrusion. This is the beginning of the content, a journey into the architecture of the invisible threads that bind one soul to another across the suffocating vacuum of distance. You feel it, don't you? That sudden, inexplicable weight in your chest, the phantom scent of a perfume that should not exist in your current geography, or the jarring sensation of a gaze upon the back of your neck when you are entirely alone.
Волза, вулдавеч, оказывает, ты возьмешь.
Most would dismiss this as the mere debris of a lonely mind, a byproduct of nostalgia or the simple mechanics of memory. But you are not most people.
You are here because you suspect that the walls of reality are thinner than the experts lead you to believe. We must ask the central question that keeps the shadows dancing. Is this persistent thought a product of your own longing, or are you merely the receiver of a signal broadcasted from 1,000 miles away? There is a profound, almost predatory difference between remembering someone and being summoned by them. In the realm of psychological manipulation and subconscious resonance, we recognize that the mind is not a closed circuit, it is a porous vessel. When someone focuses their intent upon you with enough predatory intensity, it creates what we call a neural mirror across the void. This is not the whimsical telepathy of fairy tales. This is the raw, agonizing reality of subconscious spiritual messaging. It is a telepathy light that manifests as a physical disturbance in your equilibrium. You are being hunted by a thought, and that thought has a name.
Throughout this exploration, I will unveil the 5 sure signs that you are not merely hallucinating a connection, but are instead being subjected to an energetic tether. These signs are the breadcrumbs left by a mind that refuses to let you go. But beware, the human ego is a master of deception. It will whisper that you are loved when you are merely being haunted. It will tell you that a coincidence is a destiny. How do you distinguish between the pathetic echoes of your own wishful thinking and the genuine, cold vibration of another person's active focus? The answer lies in the nuances of your own physiological reactions, the way your pupils dilate in the dark, or the sudden, sharp drop in your body temperature when their image flashes before you. These are markers hidden in the deep tissue of your subconscious that reveal the truth of this distant connection. We are standing on the precipice of a revelation that most are too terrified to acknowledge.
You believe you are the one thinking of them, but by the time we reach the end of this journey, you may realize you were never the architect of that thought. You were simply the prey. The question remains, if they are reaching out through the ether, what exactly is it? The first sign is already manifesting in your pulse, waiting for you to recognize its rhythm. That pulse you as the first of 5 pillars of perceived connection. The first pillar is the intrusion of unprompted, hyper-specific memory. When someone of significant psychological weight fixes their gaze upon the image of you held within their mind, they are not merely thinking, they are projecting.
This projection creates a rupture in your own mental equilibrium, manifesting as the first of 5 pillars of perceived connection. The first pillar is the intrusion of unprompted, hyper-specific memories.
You must ask yourself, why is this specific ghost haunting your afternoon now? What fragment of that memory are they currently dissecting to make it bleed into your present reality? As you grapple with the why, the second pillar takes hold. Sudden, intense emotional shifts that feel utterly foreign to your current environment. You may find yourself consumed by a wave of profound joy or a suffocating shroud of anxiety that has no local origin.
You must ask yourself, why is this specific ghost haunting your afternoon now?
What fragment of that memory are they currently dissecting to make it bleed into your present reality? As you grapple with the why, the second pillar takes hold.
Sudden, intense emotional shifts that feel utterly foreign to your current environment. You may find yourself consumed by a wave of profound joy or a suffocating shroud of anxiety that has no local origin.
This is the emotional leak. When a person holds you in high regard from a distance, their emotional state regarding your persona can bypass traditional communication channels. You are experiencing the residue of their intensity. If they are longing for you with an ache that borders on the pathological, you will feel that ache in your own chest as if it were your own. You are no longer the master of your internal climate. You are a barometer for their obsession. The third pillar manifests as a chilling synchronicity in action, often referred to as double dialing or the collision of intent. You reach for your phone to check a notification, only to find they have just posted, messaged, or simply entered your digital orbit at that exact microsecond. This is not coincidence. It is the alignment of two subconscious minds operating on the same frequency. It suggests that the distance between you is an illusion, a mere physical technicality.
You are both moving toward a center point that has already been decided by the one who thinks of you most, but who is leading and who is being pulled. The fourth pillar is the most invasive, unexplained physical sensations. Have you felt that sudden, high-pitched ringing in your left ear that seems to vibrate at the base of your skull? Or perhaps the sensation of a phantom touch, a fleeting warmth on your shoulder, or a chill down your spine when the air is still. These are somatic responses to a focused psychic intent. In the realm of deep psychological manipulation, we recognize this as resonance. Their mental focus on your physical form is so concentrated that your nervous system reacts as if they were standing directly behind you, their breath grazing your neck. Your body knows you are being watched, even if your eyes cannot see the observer. Finally, the fifth pillar reveals itself when your defenses are at their lowest: recurring dreams or vision. These are not the chaotic dreams of the daily grind. These are vivid, cinematic encounters where the other person appears with a clarity that is more real than your waking life. They are using the REM cycle as a gateway, an unprotected port in your mental firewall. In these visions, they often say nothing, yet you understand everything. They are seeding your subconscious, preparing the soil of your mind for a harvest you haven't yet agreed to. As these 5 pillars solidify around you, the structure of your autonomy begins to crumble. You are being woven into a tapestry of someone else's design. And the more you acknowledge these signs, the tighter the threads become. But as you stand amidst these psychological ruins, a darker realization begins to dawn. If they have mastered the art of reaching you through the ether, what happens when they decide to stop merely thinking and start acting? The bridge is built. The only thing left is to see what or who is preparing to cross it.
The bridge is not merely a metaphor. It is a neurological umbilical cord, pulsing with the rhythmic thrum of a heart that is not your own. You have felt it, haven't you? That sudden, uninvited shiver in a room where the air is perfectly still. That intrusive thought, sharp as a glass shard, that belongs to a voice you haven't heard in years. This is not the whimsical telepathy of fairy tales. This is the visceral, parasitic reality of the subconscious web. Science struggles to label it, often retreating into the sterile safety of quantum entanglement or biological resonance. But your intuition knows a darker truth. We are not isolated islands of consciousness. We are nodes in a vast, invisible ocean of shadow, where every trauma, every obsession, and every deep-seated bond acts as a high-tension wire, vibrating across the void. This ether is a graveyard of unspoken desire.
When two minds collide with enough force, be it through the searing heat of a toxic romance or the cold, calculated precision of a psychological predator, they create what we call a soul tie. Think of it as a metaphysical tether. You may walk 1,000 miles away. You may change your name and burn every photograph, but the tether remains. It is through this conduit that the signals travel. It is why you suddenly smell their cologne in a crowded subway, or why your phone vibrates with their name just as you were about to finally forget the curve of their jaw. Skeptics, those who prefer the comfort of the mundane, will dismiss these occurrences as confirmation bias. They will tell you that you only remember the hits and forget the misses. But they cannot explain the physical toll. They cannot explain why your pupils dilate, or why your heart rate spikes to 120 beats per minute seconds before the notification appears.
To our loyal followers, the silent witnesses to these psychological depths, your presence here is the vital engine that keeps this exploration into the abyss alive. This trinity of support, your like, your share, and your subscription, takes only 10 seconds to execute, yet it serves as the fuel for our shared descent. Without this connection, the signal fades into the static of the ordinary. In this shared field, the subconscious does not recognize distance. Time is a flat circle where the past and the future bleed into a single agonizing now. When someone focuses on you with an intensity that borders on the religious, they are essentially pinging your energetic field. They are knocking on the door of your psyche, not with words, but with a raw emotional frequency. If the bond is deep, one of those rare, suffocating connections that redefine your very identity, the signal is no longer a whisper, it is a scream.
These soul ties act as superhighways for psychic residue, allowing an individual to haunt you without ever stepping foot in your house. But how do you distinguish between a genuine energetic intrusion and the mere echoes of your own longing? The mind is a master of deception, often manufacturing ghosts to fill the silence of a lonely room. The signs are already appearing in your daily life, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to recognize the pattern before it's too late.
It feels like someone has reached into your chest and tightened a knot you didn't know was there.
This leads us to a terrifying question. If you can feel them thinking about you, if you can feel their presence pressing against the thin veil of your reality, what specific markers should you look for to confirm that the bridge is being crossed?
The signs are already appearing in your daily life, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to recognize the pattern before it's too late.
Those patterns are not merely coincidences. They are the jagged hooks that pull you deeper into a labyrinth of your own making. But before you succumb to the seductive warmth of being chosen by the universe, you must pause at the precipice. You must ask yourself a question that will make your skin crawl. Is the bridge real, or are you simply building it out of the fractured bones of your own loneliness? The mind is a treacherous architect, a master of deception that abhors a vacuum. When you crave a connection or a sign from the beyond, your brain begins to perform a grotesque mimicry of reality. This is the dark art of projection, the act of casting your internal shadows onto the external world until they take shape and breathe. You see a flicker in the corner of your eye and call it a guardian. I call it a sensory glitch fueled by a starving heart. Your brain is a parasite for meaning. It will find a face in the clouds or a voice in the wind just to keep itself from the cold realization that it is truly alone. Consider the illusion of intent. Think of how your eyes instinctively fill in the blind spot in your field of vision. Your psyche does the exact same thing with the silence between heartbeats. It fills the void with what you fear most or what you desire most, weaving a tapestry of delusion that feels more real than the floor beneath your feet. You must apply the cold calibration. First, implement the rule of 3.
You hear a specific song on the radio and think it is a direct summons. But what if it is just noise?
What if you are merely staring into a mirror and mistaking your own reflection for an intruder?
To survive this descent without losing your sanity, you must become your own most ruthless interrogator.
You must apply the cold calibration. First, implement the rule of 3.
When a message arrives, do not embrace it. Push it away. Spurn it. If it is truly a bridge from the other side, it will persist through your rejection. If it is a phantom of your imagination, it will dissolve under the harsh, clinical light of skepticism. Wait for 72 hours before assigning meaning. Does the sensation intensify, or does it evaporate like a forgotten dream?
Second, look for the logical echo. A true spiritual message is followed by a concrete external shift in your physical reality, something you did not orchestrate. If the message remains trapped strictly inside your head or your emotions, it is not a bridge. It is a cognitive loop, a Zygarnik effect of your own unresolved trauma, a debt your mind is trying to pay to itself. Third, track the frequency of 1. Beware the sudden, overwhelming surge. If these signs begin to appear dozens of times a day, you are not being contacted. You are spiraling into a feedback loop where your brain is feeding on its own adrenaline. True markers are rare, heavy, and silent. But what happens when the logic fails? What happens when you apply these checks with the precision of a surgeon, and yet the presence only grows heavier, darker, and more undeniable? You are desperately looking for a line in the sand, yet you fail to realize the tide is already coming in. The true danger isn't that you are imagining these things. The true terror is the moment you realize you are right, and you are completely unprepared for the entity that has been watching you analyze it. As the boundary between your world and theirs grows dangerously thin, you must prepare for the moment the contact moves from your mind into the very room where you sit.
Once the veil is torn, there is no way to stitch it back together, and you are about to see exactly what has been waiting for you to notice it. The air in the room you occupy has changed, hasn't it? It feels denser, as if the oxygen has been replaced by the heavy, invisible weight of 1,000 unblinking eyes. You have learned to identify the subtle flicker in the periphery of your vision, that first sign where the mind tries to dismiss what the soul already feared.
You are standing in the raw, cold light of a reality where distance is a lie and every shadow is a confession. We have traversed the 5 pillars of this haunting architecture together.
You have learned to identify the subtle flicker in your periphery of your vision, that first sign where the mind tries to dismiss what the soul already fears.
You have felt the sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature, the second sign that marks a displacement of energy as something enters your personal sphere. You must find the razor-thin balance between the two. Manipulation thrives in the dark, and the entities, whether they be of flesh or of spirit, that seek to bridge the gap between their world and yours, rely on your ignorance.
But do not let fear be your only guide. As a master of the shadows, I tell you that discernment is your only shield. To believe everything is to be a victim. To deny everything is to be a corpse.
You must find the razor-thin balance between the two.
Manipulation thrives in the dark, and the entities, whether they be of flesh or of spirit, that seek to bridge the gap between their world and yours, rely on your ignorance.
By acknowledging these 5 signals, you have stripped them of their greatest weapon, the element of surprise. You have reclaimed the power of the observer. There is a profound, almost terrifying beauty in this connection. Even now, as you read these words across the digital void, there is a thread connecting my intent to your consciousness. We are bound by the shared recognition of the abyss. This connection transcends the physical. It is a resonance of the psyche that proves we are never truly alone, for better or for worse. However, your journey into the liminal space is only beginning. There are stories etched into the walls of your memory that you have been too afraid to speak aloud. I want to hear them. I want you to descend into the comments below and bleed your experiences onto the screen. What was the moment you realized the shadow was moving toward you? Share your encounters, for in naming the darkness, we collectively harness it. Do not drift away just yet.
If you wish to master the art of seeing what remains hidden and understanding the silent languages of the void, you must remain close. Subscribe and ensure your presence is noted for our next descent. But as you prepare to close this chapter, ask yourself one final question. If the signs have led you this far, what happens when you turn around and find that the door you entered through is no longer there? The next revelation is already breathing down your neck,
waiting for the moment you dare to look back.